Hello and welcome back to my channel. So if you have been experiencing stress and anxiety, whether it's on the low level, on the high level, on the daily basis or now and then, but you really want to reduce your stress and anxiety levels because it's affecting your life and overall health and wellness, then this video is perfect for you because I'll be sharing how I have been reducing my stress and anxiety through daily habits. So I think the stress and anxiety is fine if it is a temporary phenomenon and it comes in small dosages, because certain situations in life that stress and anxiety can help us to think now, to focus and get things done. For example, if you are in the bad situation where you need to think, you need to come up with a solution, you need to focus, because there's no any other way. There's no other option other than you staying there, focusing and being present. And eventually you do come up with a solution, even though the situation is the most stressful and it gives you anxiety, but you come up with a solution and you come out of that situation. So this is what I mean. There's certain times that stress and anxiety can be working in your own advantage, and that's okay. And the truth is that anxiety and stress is inevitable, it's part of life. However, when stress and anxiety becomes part of your daily habit, that is debilitating. I have been in many situations where I felt extremely stressed, and there has been in my lifetime situation a long period of time where I felt stressed for a very long time, and same being anxious as well. They very similar but different at the same time. Anxiety can linger for a long time even though when you're not stressed. Even though they both kind of have similar symptoms, that's what I have at least experienced and from doing my own research. And it can be very overwhelming, and it does affect your life. Your self-esteem goes right down, your self-care as well. You start eating unhealthy food or not eating enough or overeating as well, and not sleeping enough, so lack of sleep, and your immune system becomes very weak. Even when your immune system is weakened and threatened, you're more prone to any illness or diseases. So I think that's why it's so crucial to avoid stress, or if you cannot avoid in the certain situations because it happens, maybe just do certain things to reduce your stress. And there's definitely ways that you can practice and train your brain, train yourself physically and mentally to reduce stress and anxiety as well. So this brings me to my 10 daily habits that I practice to reduce stress and anxiety. My habit number 1 is to identify why I feel stressed. So by writing it down, who's making me stressed and what is making me stressed, and perhaps why is making me stressed. So it's very important to write those things down and then answer. And by doing that, then you can clearly see on black and white the reasons why. And sometimes by doing that, you can analyze and see that the things are not as big as you thought them to be in your head. What has been stressing you out, or what has been giving you anxiety. This habit I have been implementing for the past few weeks or so. So I try to do that daily. However, I'm not going to lie that I don't do every single day, even though it is part of my daily habit that I want to implement. So I'm definitely working on this because I know that it truly helps me when I put everything on the paper and not keeping in my head. I feel much better. I feel like there's more space in my head for other things. And at the same time, just in case if I forget something, it's on a piece of paper as evidence for me, and then I can read through and kind of analyze for myself. My habit number 2 is to eliminate the things that I cannot control. So this has been a big thing for me, that I have been in the past a control freak. So I think a lot of us are actually, it's just part of a human's nature to know the next step and to control those next step as well. And especially with predictions, we want to predict what will happen next. And if we do predict and that does happen, then we are so proud and so happy of ourselves, even though if it was a good thing or a bad thing, and then we will do for next time. But reality is we cannot predict anything. Yes, we can assume things that they may happen because of a certain repetitive behaviors, whether it's with ourselves or with someone else. But at the end of the day, we don't know what will happen in an hour's time or what will happen tomorrow. Overall, I try to not be a control freak of situations or of people. And the reality is you cannot change the past. If you are stuck in the past and thinking that you wish certain things did not happen to you or to someone else, you cannot change them. You only can be right now where you are present and make changes, and perhaps not repeat a cycle in certain situations or with people. And so then your future will not be what your past is. That is just my own analysis. That's what I think, and that's what I have been creating for myself, because we all have certain things in life that we wish it didn't happen, or we didn't do, or we didn't say, or we didn't perhaps meet certain people. I guess we just have to understand the certain things that we cannot control. So don't be obsessed over something that you have no control over. Do things and concentrate on the things that you can control. But I do truly believe if you truly change yourself, your behavior, your thought process, everything internally, around you, things will change externally, with no doubt. And the habit that I would recommend to avoid is to try to control people or situations when you cannot control, or you cannot change, even though for the best you want to change certain things. And I wouldn't recommend to sit on the thought that you wish things were different. You wish that in certain situations you'd done something differently about it, or you wish you knew something that you didn't know. And there's lots of kind of thinking, wishing, but the matter of fact, you cannot change, you cannot go back. And in the present moment as well, just think the things that you can take control of, not the things that you cannot take control, the things that you can change, and not the things that you can't change, because you're just wasting your own time and you are just stressing yourself out. Then that will lead to having anxiety later on. My habit number 3 is to keep a promise to yourself. So if you made a promise to yourself that you're going to do something, then don't break that promise. I think is one of the worst things, and they very underestimated. When you say something to yourself you're going to do, it's very important that you show up for yourself and you do that thing. I think it's as important as you would say to your friend or family member or anyone or your colleague that you're going to do something, and you go and do, most likely because you don't want them to think badly about you or say anything, or you will feel bad if you didn't do or show up for something that you needed to show up. So I think that goes same for yourself as well. I've experienced in many situations where I promised myself I'm going to do something tomorrow, and then I wouldn't do, and then I would say, okay, I'll do it another day, and then I wouldn't do it, and I'll be like, okay, I'll do another day, and that day will come and I wouldn't show up for myself, and then eventually I wouldn't trust myself. So that's when it becomes more of a self-love and self-care. But when you're lacking in that area, you start feeling stressed about it because you said you're going to do that thing, but you didn't do that. Then you didn't keep that promise to yourself. So every time I say something, for instance, if I say I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and for some reason I cannot go, most times I will make myself and I will force myself going to the gym. But if it happens that I don't feel well, truly physically I don't feel well, where I cannot get to the gym for whatever reason, then I think, okay, well, there's an alternative. I can go for a walk, I can stretch, or I can do yoga. There is always alternative things that you can do if you can't do that thing. For me, there is no excuse. And because I have started implementing this habit on a daily basis, I feel much better. There's less stress and I feel less anxious because I end up getting things done that I said I'm going to do. So there's less things, I guess, in my head as well. My habit number 4 is to focus on 1 to 2 things, what I want to do in that day. So before, I used to have a massive to-do list that what I would want to achieve, and it was just so overwhelming. So what I started to do for the past year or so, I would just have literally 1 or 2 things that I want to do that day. So for example, if I just wanted to focus on cleaning my whole house, I would just do that day. And if there is a leftover time, then that's great. I will do something else as well, which will make me even more happier. Or sometimes I would just do cleaning and cooking. So I would just focus on those things. Like for example, today I'm just focusing on filming my YouTube video because I know that will take such a long time for me because I am new on this platform, and creating videos, it does require a lot of time and my energy, where I need to plan the content and I need to think as well what values I want to give to you. And also editing, it will take time editing because that will be a separate job, but I wouldn't do on the same day. This is what I would do, and I focus just filming a YouTube video like today and nothing else. But of course, if I have any leftover time, then I will do something else. And honestly, that it feels so much better. You feel less stressed. I'm sure you have experience where you have so many things happening in one day and you want to do so many things and you're just running around here and there. Your mind is going crazy and you feel overwhelmed, and perhaps you don't even get all those things done, and then you just feel stressed, even stressed for another day, or perhaps you feel anxious for tomorrow because you already have so many things to do on your to-do list and you feel, well, there's no any other way, there's no any other option, I have to get them done. So this is how I used to feel, and now I'm very strict with things that I do. I just prioritize either 1 or 2 things that I will do, and that's it. So I would truly recommend try this tip, especially if you're a busy student, perhaps you're having exams coming up and you're studying, or perhaps you are a parent who has kids as well, depending on you. So you don't just need to cook and clean for yourself and also go to work, but you also have little ones to look after. So I would truly recommend to just choose 1 or 2 or maybe 3 things, see what works for you best. Just give a trial and see what will work best for you. My habit number 5 is to organize your mind. So I love actually writing things down, and I know I've mentioned in the beginning, so as you probably can guess now, this is my new thing, or it has been a new thing for the past year, writing things down. Don't keep it in your brain. Write them down, because by doing that, then you allow yourself more space in your brain, and you allow more space for new thoughts as well and new ideas. And by writing it down, then you can see the things that you can tackle, the things that you can achieve, and what steps you need to take to get to perhaps your goal, or what the things that you might want to do for yourself, or it doesn't have to be for yourself. Perhaps you have an idea for your house, or you have an idea for a business. Maybe you want to start a new business and you need to, instead of keeping all in your head, you put it all on the paper, what's actually realistic for you and what steps you need to take. This is what at least I have experienced. If I keep everything in my head, I sometimes think that there's certain things that are impossible and I can't get them done, and then it will just stress me out very much or give me an anxiety about, especially about future. That's what we most really get the stress for or become anxious about, the future. But if you write those things down and organize the things that you want to get done, then it will be much less stressful. Because my habit number 6 is to move my body. It's so important for me to be physically active every day. So no matter what I do, whether I go to the gym, whether I do stretches or yoga or go for a walk, it's just so important to move my body. I feel so great and I feel amazing and I feel more aligned and uplifted. Also for my mind, is such an amazing thing. Like, I truly do feel really good. Even if I feel a bit anxious or sad or stressed, especially when you feel stressed, moving your body is amazing. It releases endorphins, it releases those happy hormones where you feel more uplifted, you feel more better and not so stressed. It has been proven that moving your body, it does uplift your mood. It does stabilize your mood. So I think one of the best things to do when you feel stressed is to stand up and go and move your body. Do something. It does not matter what you do, but anything. Even if going to the gym is not your thing, then that's fine. Maybe stay at home and you can dance. There's so many YouTube videos, teaching your classes how to dance or anything like that. You can do at home or in your garden or anywhere. Just do any type of body movement is just amazing. And I don't think I can express enough how important it is to move your body, regardless of whatever exercise you choose to do. And I think the worst thing that you can do, and the best thing, is to absolutely avoid, when you feel stressed or anxious, stay still and lay on the bed or sit on the sofa for hours and hours and do nothing, because that's when the bad habits creep in slowly and slowly, whether it's to do with eating unhealthy food or overeating or watching TV or being on social media, and unintentionally just scrolling and looking through things, and for hours you're just doing nothing. Or even drinking. Perhaps you start drinking because you do feel stressed and anxious for whatever reason, whether it's a future or today or tomorrow. These are all bad habits that they do eventually creep in if you don't do anything. This is what I started to do. If I feel stressed in any way, of course, I've mentioned you kind of start changing your mind and the things that you can control and you can't control. So of course, think of those things. But what I do, I like to just straight away get up and get active. Instead of being so stuck in my head, I start getting things done. Even if you get up and start washing your dishes or start hoovering or cleaning, anything like that, or even if you get your children, if you have children, and go for a walk with them, anything like that, it's better than being stuck and feeling sorry for yourself. And my habit number 8 is to limit screen time. So unfortunately, a lot of us, especially a younger generation, or in fact not even saying just younger generation, even older generation, we have been so addicted to our phones and to a media. looking through social media overall, scrolling unintentionally. I do think there is many other beautiful things, more creative things that you can do and use your brain cells instead of going on your phone or watching constantly TV. There is so many creative things that you probably haven't even found out about yourself that you can do or you enjoy. This is what I have been finding out about myself, and I do feel so much better staying away from the media overall as much as I can. Of course, I do have social media, and of course I think social media can be used in a very helpful and correct way. If you know how to use social media in the correct way, then it can be definitely positive instead of negative. My habit number 9 is to prepare your meals. So I've noticed whenever I feel stressed or anxious, I don't want to cook. But at the same time, I don't want to eat healthy food. And I know that I'm not the only one who suffers with this, that straight away I want to eat something unhealthy and I don't want to do anything. It's a natural thing. Like I said at the beginning, we cannot avoid completely stress or anxiety. There will be in some type of level that we will experience at some point in our life stress or anxiety. And I think the best thing is to do for me is to now prepare my meals. So if I know that I have cooked for good 3 or 4 days, then I don't need to worry at all. And if something does happen, maybe some sort of stressful situation happens or anything like that, and I'm being very realistic here. I know that life happens and stressful situations do happen, but then I know that my meals will be prepared and I will be eating healthy food, and then there will be no option for me to eat unhealthy food. There will be no option for me to run to the fridge, or if I don't have that snacky like chocolate or biscuit or ice cream in the fridge, then I know I can go to the shop and get it. But if I have prepared healthy meal, then I'm less likely to do that. More likely to go in the fridge and get that healthy food out and then consume the food. But also for me, preparing my meals is less stressful, and it's one of the things that I used to get very overwhelmed, and I used to get quite stressed when I used to cook every single day. Yes, it's a fresh meal. It just used to take a lot of my time, whereas now it doesn't take a lot of my time. Like today, I am filming this YouTube video and I don't need to think about food. I don't need to think about cooking food. I know once I filmed, then I can go and have my food, which has already been prepared, and I warm it up and then I will eat. And same for tomorrow. I don't need to think about food. We can concentrate on editing this video and I don't need to think about preparing the meals and what I'll be eating. My habit number 10 is to be present. I always say that it's so important to be now and be present. I started to try not to think about yesterday or tomorrow and try to be present. It's very difficult to be present. I have practicing this for a little while and it does happen. Even if I am present for 5 minutes, which is even then is so hard, it feels so much better. You do feel less stressed and anxious, because in the present moment, if you think where you are right now, you feel your surroundings, the smell, the sound, and where you are right now, or be aware of your thoughts, you actually don't feel anxious and you wouldn't feel stressed, because there's nothing to be stressed or anxious about. A lot of things are stresses and anxieties come from the past, but this is the technique that I have been practicing, being present, being right now. If you feel really, really stressed and you just can't get out of it, try to forget about everything else and try to focus. Tell yourself even out loud what's around you, what you can hear, what you can smell, what you can taste, what you can touch. Use all your senses. And honestly, this technique really helps me. So have a go and see if this will help you too. But the thing that you should be really avoiding when you feel stressed is to start thinking even more about the past, or start thinking more about the problem. Whatever problem is, whatever is stressing you out, don't think about that. Because more you think about, more you will create more thoughts, and those thoughts will create more feeling, and then that feeling will just drag you down, and you just won't be able to get out of that feeling or that situation. Thank you so much for watching. This brings me to the end of my video. I hope you have gained some value. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and you would like to be notified when my videos come out, then be sure to subscribe. And thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye for now.